Now, yeah, so normally a lot of people who get into aviation think that once you get into an airline, you're set. You don't have to bother about anything. You don't have to worry about anything. The airline is responsible to take care of it all. But that is not true, because at any given point, whether you were legal to fly, whether you were permitted to fly, is still the final responsibility of the pilot. Even if the airline says you can do it, but if you, in your knowledge, knew that it wasn't true, then you have the right to say no, including license validities, medical renewals, other validities. Like we undergo several training while joining an airline, such as opening an aircraft door, closing an aircraft door, emergency slide procedures, hijack procedures. If you've not undergone all these procedures in a given time or they've lapsed, then although it is your airline's responsibility to tell you that it's approaching or it's due, but if you know it's lapsed, then you have to tell your airline, I know I can't operate this flight because I'm not legal to operate. So once you get into an airline, it's not like there is no responsibility. You're sorted. You don't have to worry about everything. You still have to be up to date about everything that you know about, including something, a legal matter called flight and duty time limitations. So in a given 7-day period, you're allowed to fly 35 hours, not more than that. Your flying time cannot exceed 35 hours. Your duty time cannot exceed 60 hours. The same way in 14 days, 65 and 100. In 28 days, 100 and 190. And in 365 days, 1000 and 1800. 7, 28, and 365 are the more important ones. 14 and 90 are sort of advising. But if you break 728 and 365, then you are going to be in violation of rules. So yeah, in a given year, you can do 1000 hours and 1800 hours of duty. Now you're going to wonder, like, how is it different for a pilot's duty time and uh, his flight time? Why is it not very similar of yours? But a lot of your time on the ground. So flight time commences once your doors close and you push back. And as soon as you land and your doors open, the flight time ends. Everything else before that, your preparation for the flight, after the flight, all of that comes under duty. So till you are not done with that section and till you've not sat in your cab to go home, you're not done with your duty. And in a given day, a pilot may fly four sectors or 4 flights. So he may go from Bombay to Delhi, Delhi to Jaipur, Jaipur to Delhi, Delhi to Bombay. So in between each flight, the period where you're setting the plane up again to take off, all of that comes under duty. That's why there is a significant difference in flight time and duty time.
What about all the training, Purav? So you mentioned training earlier. All that is under duty or no? That's your own separate thing.
So yeah, when you do training or if you're scheduled for training on the ground, like when you're scheduled for these simulator sessions, they come under duty. Some airlines even try to get away with it because it's not actual flight duty. So they, uh, relegate it in the back saying it's not duty or negative, but it actually counts as duty because you were at work and you were in some way doing flight duties, even if it's just training. Yeah, so just like there is no days off in the hospitality industry, they work on a roster. Very similarly, everyone in the aviation industry, all the stakeholders that we mentioned earlier, they all work on a roster basis. Your roster comes out to you at the start of the month, start of the week, depending on, again, that depends on how each airline functions. Some airlines come up with it start of the week, some airlines come up with it start of the month, some airlines even come up with it in 3-day pattern, in 3-day patterns. So they'll give you your schedule for the next 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, depending on their arrangement. and that's how you will know which days you'll get off. Because again, these flight duty time limitations are mentioned here. These are like the basic summary limitations, but there are it's at least a 14 to 15 page document, legal document that actually tells a pilot what flights they can operate, can't operate, how long can they go while operating. So that also entails the fact that the UT periods, the rosters need to take that into consideration, give you the mandatory offs. So currently, as per the legal requirement of the DGCA, an airline, a pilot cannot fly more than 7 days. If he's flown 7 days at a stretch, his next eighth day has to be an off. That has to be a off with a minimum of 36 hours, including 2 nights. Night is described as a period between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. All that is written in that legal document.
Sir, as we can see, flight time is this means we can flight only 1,000 hours. Then why this is so small for a year?
Uh, so 1,000 hours is a lot in a year, buddy. I have flown for 4 years. I have not reached 1,000 hours, but till date, any year, I've flown about 800 hours, and believe it or not, I was maxed out in that year. Like if my airline would have scheduled me for more than that at that year, I would have probably said that I don't think I can do it in terms of health, and I don't think I'll be able to give my 100%. So that is probably going to affect safety. So 1,000 hours is a lot, come to think of it.